What is up with Conor McGregor? Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to Me Edson. I hope you're all well. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications bell for all future videos. So, what is up with Conor McGregor? What is going on with his career? Is he going to fight? Is he not going to fight? What's happening with the UFC? But also, are we even interested in his fights? And I'm going to qualify that statement. The fact of the matter is, no matter how big a name he is, he hasn't really fought in, 3 years nearly. And he hasn't had any really major success since 8 years ago. I think he's won one fight since then. So he's not exactly on top form. Okay, we've got to allow for the injury, of course, but he's not exactly on top form. I don't even know what kind of weight class he comes in at now, because he's obviously bulked out. Now, we're going to ask, how has he bulked out so much, of course? Is it that he's drinking too much of his old Irish stout, the one that he keeps on promoting at every combat event? He's the alcoholic equivalent of KSI and Logan Paul with their prime. They seem to be everywhere as well. But in terms of Conor McGregor, he was supposed to be fighting Chandler in the UFC. They did the Contender Series. We thought it was going to happen. And there just seems to be a delay after delay after delay. Nobody really seems to know when this fight will ever happen. And also, if there's going to be somebody else who he could fight. Will he fight in the UFC? Will he fight elsewhere? There's already talk about Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather too. Well, I don't even want to see those fights. To be quite honest with you, if you're not fighting contemporaries, then what's the point? You're just fighting exhibition fights. Okay, granted, they will be competitive exhibition fights, but you know what I mean? They're not exactly you going up against the best in the UFC. So what are you then? Are you just coming with a name, with a reputation that's, on the wane? Are you just coming in as a once been and now is soon becoming a has-been? Yes, that might be really harsh for somebody like Conor McGregor, who was, let's face it, the biggest star in the UFC and arguably still is, although he hasn't really fought in years. But his inactivity and his lack of credible opponent, or rather, should I say, him being a credible opponent for the top in the division, whatever division he actually enters, kind of makes it a little bit of a farce. So where are we with Conor McGregor? Where is he? What are the delays caused by? Is it a UFC thing? Is it a Conor McGregor thing? Is there something that he or the UFC are not telling us about, his training, about the quality of his training, about actually where he's at in terms of injury, in terms of, how he's got a lot bigger. Now, of course, he's done the acting thing as well. In this latest Jake Gyllenhaal rehash of Roadhouse, really, and by all accounts it's not very good, right? And the clips I've seen of him, it's kind of, is he acting or is he just being himself, Conor McGregor? I mean, let's face it, he is the life and soul of the party. He's the big, brash, loud-mouthed person. Wherever you are, you can hear him a mile away, right? So from that point of view, he's a great promoter. So I'm just wondering, does he really need to get back into the octagon or even into the ring? Because he made his millions from the Mayweather fight, so does he really need to fight again? Who knows? He's obviously got his pub in Ireland. He's obviously selling his Irish stout as well, wherever he can flog it. So I'm just wondering, where is the motivation for him to get back into the octagon or into a ring? Now, into the ring, I could certainly see it. And I could certainly see him doing these kind of competitive exhibition fights against Manny Pacquiao, against Mayweather, or whether even the Saudis now would try and get him on a card to fight somebody as well, or to make an event around him where he is the main event, and then you get other kind of exhibition-y fights on the undercard as well. I kind of get that, but it still means that Conor McGregor isn't the fighter that he was. Now, we know that, because he hasn't fought in ages, but I would much rather see Conor McGregor come back into the UFC and fight the best, or let's say the top 10 in the division, whatever weight class, whatever division he actually enters. That's what I want to see. I really wanted to see the Chandler fight, But do you know what? I've gone off that now. It's been so long in waiting. I don't even know where I want him to be or where he should be aiming, or if there's anybody out there who's really going to want to fight Conor McGregor. I mean, let's face it, he's what, mid-30s now? He's only got a couple more years, let's say, realistically, to be there in the UFC, certainly with his weight class. So you kind of think, well, there are killers out there. And these up-and-coming fighters, let's face it, UFC, just like any other combat sport, has evolved. Even in the short period that he's been off, it has really evolved. So I'm just wondering, if they even brought him into the UFC to fight even a top 10, would he even last around? Would he even be able to cope? So maybe this is the root of the problem. The problem is they want him to get back into the UFC, but they're really finding it hard to match him up to somebody who's either going to want to be a fall guy or who's already past their prime as well. So I'm kind of thinking if they can match up the weights like a Tony Ferguson type deal, hey, would that be a decent fight, a decent matchup? Otherwise, it is just a competitive exhibition fight. You're just kind of having him around just to sell more pay-per-views. But the point about pay-per-views is that it's got to be competitive. Otherwise, it's not going to sell. You might sell one. You'll definitely sell a lot of pay-per-views on the Conor McGregor fight, his first fight back. But I'm not sure you'll sell half as many on a second one. I could be wrong here, but let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Where are we at with Conor McGregor? Where is he at in his career? And is he destined to come back to the UFC? When will it be? I'm kind of bored of waiting, really, and I'm kind of bored of him turning up at combat events, boxing events, and giving it the big one. But at the same time, you either enter the ring properly or you enter the octagon properly. Otherwise, what's the point? What's the point? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications bell for all future videos. And I will catch you again on another video coming very soon. Bye now.